Hi, I'm Rachel Cassidy, and I lead the Global Channel and Cloud team here at Suse. I drank the open source Kool-Aid over 20 years ago when I was running a development team for a small startup, lean on resources, discovering this free software alternative known as open source. Since then, I spent 10 years at Red Hat across services, solutions, sales, and building and evolving the partner ecosystem. I then joined Rackspace, where I spent the next 3 years helping customers move to the cloud, defining their path on the digital transformation roadmap. And 2 years ago, I joined Suse, rejoining the open source world with the focus on building out our global partner ecosystem. There has been an increase in adoption of cloud and open source during this global pandemic. I and many others have clearly noted an increased adoption of cloud in this virtual world forced upon us, but also an increase in the adoption and mainstream acceptance of open source technologies. The two come together with common themes supporting innovation, agility, and time to market. These attributes allow customers and partners to deliver new solutions quickly with a flexible and agile approach during these extremely dynamic times. All of this comes with a focus on the customer and choice. Cloud and open source naturally come together in this virtual world and are only accelerated and amplified by this pandemic. One could say it would have happened anyway, but we found ourselves thrust into this environment, which out of necessity has spurred innovation and collaboration in a time of crisis and need. Open source differs from proprietary software in that it's open and free to access and share and developed collaboratively, whereas proprietary is where the software is under restrictive copyright licensing and the source code is usually hidden from the users. Obviously, from this longer list, I tend to favor one of the two strategies. Suse's tagline of the power of many exemplifies the core of open source. Many smart minds working across the globe, regardless of company, country, age, and background, work together without boundaries in collaboration. This means that the high school coder that lives in Hungary is contributing and fixing code written by the retired programmer out of Minneapolis, as well as the Suse engineer out of China and the Red Hat engineer out of Brazil. So this is true collaboration across boundaries and without boundaries. This openness, transparency, and collaboration shared by all provides an increased level of cross-checking and validation for increased stability. This also supports an environment for new ideas to foster and build upon each other, providing robust, reliable results that are flexible and agile. Open source is also cited as being more secure than proprietary options through the power of many. Choice is also a key differentiator of open source, supporting flexibility while avoiding vendor lock-in. And all of these things build to innovation everywhere. Proprietary, on the other hand, is built by a smaller set of contributors. It's less flexible by nature and results in vendor lock-in for future upgrades, integrations, or future enhancements due to the closed nature of proprietary software, which also usually comes with a steeper price tag and limited or restricted choice. So which would you lean towards? Hence, once you drink the open source Kool-Aid, there's no going back. From the Linux Foundation, a few quotes to show you the global adoption of open source, which really has been mainstream through this pandemic. 1.15 billion lines of code supporting the most business critical and groundbreaking innovations. Over 235,000 developers from the most innovative companies are building the future of open technology. Over 19,000 contributing companies across industries are bringing open technology into the enterprise. And 54.1 billion total shared value created from the collective contributions of the Linux Foundation community. And open source is more than just Linux. Now, I saw a story recently on LinkedIn, and it was not a story on open source, rather it was actually a story about happiness. However, when I read it, the first thing that came to mind was the power of collaboration which again by nature is at the foundation of open source. And the story goes like this. A teacher brought balloons to school and asked the children to blow them up and then write their names on their balloon. They tossed all the balloons into the hall while the teacher mixed them up from one end to the other, and the teacher then gave them 5 minutes to find the balloon with their name on it. The children ran around looking frantically, but as the time ran out, no one found their own balloon. Then the teacher told them to take the balloon closest to them and give it to the person whose name was on it. In less than 2 minutes, everyone had their own balloon. So from the teacher's perspective, the motto he was trying to teach was balloons are like happiness. No one will find it looking for their own. Instead, if everyone cares about each other, they will find theirs as quickly as possible. So I chose to take this story to have a similar motto, still based on community that supports collaboration and the agility offered with open source. So my adaptation is working together through collaboration, community, and openness allows for increased agility. The power of many is always stronger than that of one. So cloud technologies are not new either, but this global pandemic has accelerated cloud adoption as a matter of business continuity, in some cases survival. Worldwide public cloud spending is forecast to rise 18.4% in 2021 to a total of $304.9 billion, according to the latest figures from Gartner. Subsequent survey data indicated that 70% of organizations plan to increase their cloud spending in the wake of the disruption caused by COVID-19. We also see a convergence between cloud and open source. All of the major cloud providers, Microsoft, AWS, Google, have all signaled they are big proponents of open source and have open source offerings, websites, communities that they support. Another example to showcase the value of open source is that Microsoft's acquisition of GitHub in 2018 for $7.5 billion shows again the value placed upon open source. Cloud providers are also not just contributors to open source projects, but they are initiating open source projects, for example, Google and Kubernetes. And it is also worth pointing out that AWS and Google's cloud platform, GCP, are built on open source. And 60% of the VMs on Microsoft Azure are Linux-based. So what is the connection with open source and cloud? The more we move to the cloud, the greater the pull for open source technologies. Both cloud and open source support the core themes of innovation, agility, and time to market. Enterprise-level adoption of open source and cloud is accelerating. Legacy proprietary vendors are becoming more open. Corporations are embracing open source and cloud as mainstream and needing to stay competitive in the market, offering agility and choice for their solutions as well as for their customers. So let's take a look at how open source and cloud work together today at some enterprises. Real-world examples. So first, Electrobit. Electrobit creates safe, secure software for autonomous vehicles. Did you know that they power 1 billion devices and more than 100 million vehicles? Well, Electrobit builds on Suse's open source technology to deliver a future software platform for automobiles for better safety, convenience, and vehicle efficiency. Electrobit calls out the values of open source, freedom and flexibility as key to their ability to innovate. Here's a second example, citing open source and cloud with Carhartt. Carhartt saved millions by minimizing downtime while building an omni-channel experience for their customers. For those who aren't familiar with Carhartt, they manufacture durable quality workwear. They wanted to create an omni-channel experience for their customers, replacing legacy hardware with a cloud-first strategy that would increase their business efficiency. So using Suse's open source technology, patches and updates are managed from a single point with ease, and the results are quite impressive. Carhartt cites that their systems now run 24/7 with zero downtime, where previously each outage cost as much as $1 million per outage for the business. So now they're able to reroute those resources that used to be working on the outages to their omnichannel project, fostering further innovation for their customers. So you can imagine the savings they're enjoying now, coupled with an increased customer experience. And one last example, another world-renowned video game pioneer with Ubisoft, the creator of popular games like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. So how are they using cloud and open source? They're using it to create a cloud-native microservices-centric future. And what that means is they're choosing to build their software applications in the cloud. The combination of cloud, and in this case, Suse's Rancher, our container management platform, is giving their developers the freedom to experiment. Thousands of developers can spin up new Kubernetes clusters in an instant in a controllable, centrally managed way, again, fostering innovation. So let me tell you a little bit about Suse. First of all, I wanted to share our mission to enable better futures and deliver measurable value for our customers, employees, partners, and communities. We call this the Suse Diamond, through the power of many, open collaboration, and the ability to innovate everywhere. So this Suse Diamond represents customers, employees, partners, and communities as the 4 points of the diamond, with a core focus on collaboration, bringing these communities together. Our vision is to be the leading, most innovative and trusted partner in providing true open source technologies for the enterprise to simplify, modernize, and accelerate traditional cloud and edge solutions. And at Suse, we believe we have a role to play in simplifying adoption of open source to accelerate business transformation. We collaborate with all of the major cloud providers, so joint customers are supported. We invest in co-innovation with major cloud providers. For example, with Google, we just have a rollout of confidential VMs that allows you to have better control of your data, enhance security for your workloads, and collaborate in the cloud with confidence. We also understand our customers live in a hybrid cloud environment, and we have engineered Suse Linux to be secure and portable from edge to core to cloud, supporting our customers' hybrid cloud environments. And we understand our customers live in a multi-cloud world, and we provide a unified experience across all of the public cloud providers and your on-premise deployments with Suse Rancher, because we know that our customers may need to support a mix of clouds. And we are open source to the core, from cloud to core to edge, supporting innovation everywhere. So I hope you've enjoyed the examples of projects mentioned. It's an exciting future for cloud and open source technologies. Expect more collaboration and interdependence between cloud and open source that will drive innovation, agility, and increase time to market in this ever-changing world. And here are a few open source resources to get you started if you're new to open source. And I look forward to hearing about your experiences and answer any questions. Thank you. So drink the Kool-Aid, embrace the power of many, and get ready to innovate everywhere.